All right. So there's been controversy since the stamping of the Stanley Cup, the plate for the Carolina Hurricanes' recent Stanley Cup win. And I have opinions about it, just like everybody else does. But my opinion on the whole situation is this. Dundon is the owner of the team. Dundon has the right to put on anyone's name that he wants, including family, including office staff, or whatever. Do I fault Dundon for putting his kids' names on the Stanley Cup? No, I don't. I don't. And here's why. And the fact that matter goes, if he put his wife's name on the Stanley Cup, I wouldn't have minded. And here's why. Because Dundon travels as the owner of the team. He comes to games. He comes and stays in Raleigh quite a bit. Not bringing his family. Not bringing anyone but himself. So therefore, I feel like that as a sacrifice, I can understand why he would want to put his family's name on the cup. However, there's the other part. Well, if he does that, he should have taken the time to not put them on there and put office staff on there. Okay, I see that argument as well. With that argument, you could go and say, well, why don't we just include the people who park the cars? Why don't we put the people who sell the tickets in there as well? Why not? So here's my thing. And I think the NHL should change the rules on who goes on the Stanley Cup, whose names go on the Stanley Cup, and whose names don't. I do disagree with the fact that Joel Nystrom was not put on the Stanley Cup. Why? Well, you got Nick Delorier, who played 2 or 3 games. They petitioned to have his name put on. Why? And it was. So why not petition to have Joel Nystrom's name put on? He did have a contributing factor into the Stanley Cup being won by the Hurricanes. Most definitely he did. And so therefore I feel like that he should have been added to the Stanley Cup. It's raining and it just actually quit raining. So there's like water dripping everywhere. That's why you see water on my shirt here. So anyway, I just feel like that going forward, I think there should be some rules as to who's on the Stanley Cup and who's not. And I think it should go as follows. I think the owner's name should be on there. I think the general manager, the assistant general manager's name should be on there. I think the coaching staff's name should be on there. I think and that includes goalie coach because they are a coach. I feel like the trainers, the equipment managers, the team physicians, or the team doctor that is there every game for the team, I think they should be on there. I also think that and believe that every player who had played X number of games should be on there. I think that if you're going to petition for one, I think you should petition for all the players that had played at least a game, or let's say a minimum of 10 games that season for the Carolina Hurricanes. I think they should go on there. Anything under 10 games, I think you should have to petition for them to go on there. I do not think the office staff, nutritionist, or anything like that should go on the Stanley Cup. I think it should be people who are directly involved with the team. Outside of that, you should not be put on the Stanley Cup. And I think that the NHL should, with due diligence, change the rules of who goes on the Stanley Cup. Point blank. Do I disagree with what Dundon did? From his standpoint, no. From a fan standpoint, yes. And I'm looking at this from both sides. I'm looking at this from both sides. From the Carolina Hurricanes or any team to do that. Now, with that being said, of course, there's always going to be controversy. There's always going to be controversy when it comes to the Carolina Hurricanes winning the Stanley Cup. There always is, there always will be, for whatever reason. Last season, when the Florida Panthers, it was last season or season before last, when the Florida Panthers won the Stanley Cup, there was names put on there. Nothing was said. Nothing was said. Perfectly fine. But lo and behold, the Carolina Hurricanes come and put names on, and there is all kinds of riff. Do I agree with it? Not 100%, but I understand it. Do I think going forward that there should be a standard of owners, general managers, coaching staff, training staff, and maybe the team doctor or whatever, and all the players that have played 10 games or more automatically put on? Yes, I do. Do I think that they should petition for anyone 9 games and under? Yes, I do. And that's how they need to go forward with the names going on the Stanley Cup going forward. And I would urge the teams to get together and approach the NHL with that platform. And I think even some fans should contact the NHL and protest for that platform as well. But that's my take. I see both sides. I see the fan sides. I see the owner sides. Well, I'm the owner of the team. I should have a right to put whoever's name on there I'll do that I want to. Does it mean that the mail person for the team delivering the mail throughout the, putting mail into slots of the boxes of office staff gets put on? No. Do I think that the analytics team should be put on there? No. Do I think that the coffee girl should, that goes and gets the coffee and donuts and sandwiches and stuff should be put on? No. No, not at all. Do I think the scouts should be put on there? No, not at all. Not at all. Do I think that, and the list goes on. I mean, there's a lot of people that can be put on the Stanley Cup that really don't deserve to be on there. Let's face it. Okay. Now, do I think that the scouts have a lot to do with the team winning the cup? Yeah, because they look and they bring the talent in. They give the information to the general managers and the coaches and stuff like that. But is it really Stanley Cup noteworthy that your name going to Stanley Cup? No. You're just one of those unsung heroes, And I would love to see all office staff not be able to be put on the Stanley Cup. I really do. Do I think the nutritionist should be put on there? That one, maybe not. Because after all, they do have a direct effect on teams winning the cup or not. So that's my take. Take it for what you want. Take it ever how you will. And I know everybody's got their version of what they think should, who should be, who shouldn't be, all that crap. But at the end of the day, apparently it's the owners who have that call to make. So, but that's my take. And I know my answers aren't always the most popular, but I think it's the most reasonable answer. I don't think it's the most popular answer, but I think it's the most reasonable answer. And I don't think it's beyond the grasp of comprehension, So, I mean, what's next? What are they going to do? Put dead grandma that's been dead for 50 years? Great grandma that's been dead for 50, 60 years on the cup? I mean, come on. Ridiculous. Do I think it was ridiculous for Dundon to put his children's name on the cup when they actually didn't have a direct effect on the team winning the cup? Yes, I think it was ridiculous for him to do that. Of course I do. And that's why I said I think that they need to come up with a standard. The NHL needs to come up with a standard. And whoever approves these extra names being put on there, when they know full well that the people don't work for the organization itself and their children or nieces and nephews or whatever, they need to turn it down. They need to reject it. And that's why I say they need to go to a set platform as to who's on the cup. Point blank. That's my take.